Hello, beautiful butterflies. So it is almost, actually it is, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is totally witching hour. I just got out of work not too long ago, and I realized that, well, first and foremost, I picked up a shift today, so I had this whole plan to do these videos over time and realized that I didn't really have too much time after picking up the shift, but I wanted to make sure I kept my word. I wanted to keep you guys completely aware of what was going on. And yeah, since I have my voice back and everything, taking this opportunity. First and foremost, I just want to say that I just got this new crystal. This is, I always have a crazy way of saying this, but citrine or citrin or however you want to pronounce it. Love your heart. Hi. I can't believe there's people up with me right now. But I want to tell you that this crystal does not play games at all. I wore this crystal today when I was working. I work at a restaurant part-time, part of the many jobs that I do. And this right here brought me so much money today because we've had an issue with the water break in Philly. And it shut down our entire street, so it's been causing craziness. Hey, Mia! It's been causing, like, ridiculously craziness, but it's not only just caused craziness as far as, like, kind of, like, picking things up slowly, but, like, today I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wear this, and I'm gonna wish for money. I did meditation the other day, and, like, wore my labradorite crystal with it, which is it's a really, really strong manifestation crystal. Especially if you charge it correctly, like, it's amazing. And then I wore it and I put the citrine in my pocket. Let me tell you, I made really good money tonight, which was awesome, especially for a Thursday, because we've been slow on Thursdays. Like I just said, the water break was an issue. And then, like, not even just that, but something pissed me off so bad, and, like, I've been doing really well with that. And when it pissed me off, the abundance of how mad I got in such a short amount of time, I was like, whoa, like, I have not been that irritated so fast in such a small amount of time. So when I tell you, like, I've mentioned this before, this crystal, talking about you have to be very, very, very careful. If you guys can see this, I'm going to be like one of those little makeup people. It's a beautiful crystal. It's got a lot of, like, beautiful, cool colors. Let me tell you, it works really well, but you have to be careful with this because it is, wherever you put this, it's going to create that abundance. So I wore it in my pocket area that was right next to all of my money and my credit card receipts, and I made such good money tonight. But I kid you not, when I was mad, it was like a red flash that just came over me, and I was like, whoa, like, I haven't been that upset. And it was over something really simple, but it just brought that passion to me, and it was crazy. But anyway, it actually works out because the moon that happens is actually about that. The moon that happened that we're going to talk about next. And interesting enough, I know a lot of my Geminis are going to be like, damn, really? You had to do an intro like that and then bring us into this? Yes, I did. So the moon I'm going to be talking about is the full moon in Gemini that was on November 23rd. Alright, so it wasn't that long ago. Not even a full month ago. That moon, I said this in previous videos, that moon was crazy. Crazy. So I want you guys to think about what was going on between that time around, like, November 23rd. That actually was right around Thanksgiving time. And it makes a lot of sense because as much as I had fun during Thanksgiving, I had a snapback so quick on my attitude that it was unbelievable. My mom could definitely vouch for me because I was, like, mad about everything and wanted to leave immediately. When my mom likes to make fun of me, she's an Aries, she likes to stir my pot. That's how she is. She thinks it's funny. And me being the Libra moon that I am, I was like, no, I'm not dealing with that. That's not nice, blah, blah, blah. So I remember it very clearly, and thank God for Black Friday sales because me and my mother were able to mend our issues of her making fun of me on Thanksgiving. But anyway, let's talk about that, right? Think about Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving is usually a time period. I mean, I definitely have my other way of looking at it because I'm Native American, so of course I'm also looking at it from a very negative side. But on a positive light, think about Thanksgiving time as far as this year and how it really, you know, it was supposed to be bringing families together. I really want to get you guys' intake on this as well, so please, please, please comment because I want to see how your Thanksgiving was. Keep it real. Don't be light on it. I want to hear. But anyway, so the full moon was actually 0 degrees Gemini, and the sun was in 0 degrees in Sagittarius. 0 degrees and 52 minutes exactly. Now let's talk about a full moon first before we get into exactly how this particular full moon fell in place. So a full moon is when the moon and the sun are exactly at the same opposite coordinates or same opposite degree. Okay, so literally, like I said before, the moon was in 0 degrees and 52 minutes of Gemini and 0 degrees and 52 minutes of Sagittarius the sun was in, okay? So they're opposite. What that really does is it presents the fact of looking at the ego and the emotion and kind of looking at each other, right? Looking at each other in the face and kind of seeing that mirror essence, seeing what the other one has, the other one has not delivered yet, and vice versa, right? It's the needs versus the wants, because the moon is representing the needs and the sun is representing the wants, right? It's also representing the fact of getting something done with more of a masculine energy, whereas that would be the sun, whereas the moon is more so talking about the feminine energy. And getting into that, not saying, now don't take this wrong, I know a lot of people would say that doesn't necessarily mean just because I'm a man I'm like this, or just because I'm a woman I'm like this. This is not what it's saying. But look at it from a point of view of electric. That's how I kind of like to put it together, right? So when you think of electric, right, how electric works, or how the idea of a plug inserted into a box, right? I know it's like, what? Where's she going here? But if you think about it that way. When you take a plug and you insert it into the electric box, right, the plug actually holds all the information. So I mentioned this before in a previous video, like think of a TV, right? In the actual plug, it holds the information from the TV that is then plugged into the electrical box. The electrical box sparks the electric and plugs everything in, and then produces the ability to see images and sound and whatever messages that are coming from the television, right? So, and obviously that also has to do with the cable and everything else too. However, put it like this, it's the idea of something being inserted into something else, so that way that message that's being inserted goes inside and is now produced, right? The idea is produced. That's pretty much how you look at the idea of masculine and feminine energy. However, also you're taking into account when it's talking about sun and moon, how that applies as well, right? So sun is ego. It talks about the ability to execute something. Not in the way of Mars, where Mars talks about how you act on things, but more so the essence of how you come off once you go ahead and take what you need, which is the moon, and actually execute it in general. How you how you shine light. So the moon is more dim, your emotions are more dim, your needs are more dim naturally, right? Unless you actually illuminate that, unless you tell somebody about it, unless you showcase it, it's inside. Unless obviously your face is like mine, where you can't really get away with a lot of things. But more so in the fact of it's really how it shines, how your needs and your emotions shine, right? Same concept when it comes to a television. It's how the message that is being, portrayed is being shined, like how it's being projected, right? So when you think of it in that kind of way, that's pretty much how you would look at even looking at the sun and the moon as far as masculine and feminine energy. So as far as masculine energy, men are hunters. That's what we train them to be, hunters. Obviously, it depends on the family that you grow up in, but in society, we train our men to be hunters. They're the ones that go out and gather the products that a female would typically go ahead, or somebody that's more feminine would go ahead and say, this is what we need. They are the more intuitive, the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Nurturing, right? They're the ones that kind of process everything that's going on at home, or the more multitasker picking up energy. And again, this could be a male that has more feminine energy. Totally understandable. But the fact of that masculine feminine energy, that idea of the sun and the moon, is more the fact that the female or feminine side processes everything that everybody else needs, so that way it gives it to the male to go out and hunt, right? Or the idea where backwards, where a male will have an idea, and usually, and you guys will totally, I know I'm going to hear somebody be like, what? But it's totally fine. It is what it is. I stand by what I'm saying. The male will present an idea, and the woman would take it in her hands, brew it, and then produce a projected version of it. And that's just obvious because it's the same concept when you think of a child. So therefore, I say that to say this, okay? This is how you look at those two energies. Issue is when you're not accepting the two energies' ability to do their job and be able to produce and be able to utilize each other for the other's, I don't want to say lack of, because I feel like everyone has a masculine and feminine energy within them. There is definitely both within every single person. However, if you are able to utilize both of those energies and equal out each other and come together as a full force, you're able to actually find that even balance that will create the harmony. Well, that's pretty much what happens with full moons. It's the conflict, right? It's the friction between the two energies, but ultimately at the end of the day, once they kind of figure each other out and see how to balance each other out, the harmonizing part kind of comes into play and works out really, really well. So the full moon was actually in Gemini because the sun was in Sagittarius. So let's talk about Gemini real quick and then go into Sag, and then we'll break everything down as far as the aspects. So Gemini is that very quick energy. It is local energy. It is the media. Not the media that's far out, but the media that's local media. So things that are quick, fast. It's ruled by Mercury. So everything is like super about learning, but learning very fast, learning very quickly, utilizing the things around it rather than going so far out. Sagittarius is the opposite of that, right? Sagittarius actually craves the same amount of education that Geminis crave, because Geminis love to talk. Very intellectual conversation is something that stimulates them. The opposite of that, though, is Sag loves to converse, but Sag is more on the debatable side and more focused on like philosophies that are far out there. So they're ones that are going to talk about current events and politics and things that are overseas or whatever, so that way they can kind of say, listen, I feel you, you're right, but you have to broaden your mind. Broaden your mind a little bit further. And this is the reason why Sagittarius are trying with Aquarius, because they're able to understand that far out information, where like Aquarius is futuristic, so like they're able to appreciate that. So that being said, what's the difference between the two of them? Also, like, when you think of Sagittarius, too, it's also talking about the foreign concepts, right? That's why you'll see people that have Venus in Sagittarius, or people that have strong Sagittarius placements. They usually are attracted to people that are from different nationalities, or are somewhat teaching them something that they're not really able to kind of grasp that information right away from youth. Because again, they're not really concerned with what's local. They like going far out there, like far out ideas. And they like to teach. That's another thing. Like Geminis love to talk, Sagittarius love to teach. Not saying Geminis don't like to teach, but Sagittarius are the teachers of the zodiac. They definitely are the people that gather the information that's out there and come back and kind of lead, right? Sagittarius are really big on being leaders. So that's just a little piece of information when it comes to Gemini and Sagittarius. And again, just talking about this too, Gemini rules the 3rd house, where Sagittarius rules the 9th house, right? And 9th house really covers like belief systems and religions and just things like that. And 3rd house covers the neighborhood. So that's just to give you an example of that. All right, so let's get into all the things. Now, first of all, you have to excuse my bluntness because we are back in Sagittarius as far as Mercury is concerned. So my words are going to come out a little bit more blunt in your face and fiery and like, you know, a little bit. And also, Sun was sextile Black Moon Lilith on December 10th, so I'm still feeling it a little bit because my Lilith is in 8th house, so I'm a little deep right now. Alright, so, so let's get back into this. Okay. Spice. Spice, 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 spice. I cannot explain this moon in any other way than saying, I mean, there's plenty of ways, but mainly spice. The moon that was on that Thanksgiving area, oh my god, spicy. There's so many reasons why. Gemini talks a lot about the twin aspects, right? I seen a meme today that was saying that, it was really funny. It was posted by Amber Khan, which I freaking love her. She is a Gemini, and I believe she has a Virgo moon and a Cancer rising. Love her to death. She posted a meme that said all the zodiac signs, and it pointed to a specific god, and then you see Scorpio, the god in the corner, like, whew, that was close. And all the signs are pointing to Gemini, and it says on there, what's the worst sign? And it says all signs, and they point to Gemini. My poor Geminis. The problem with Geminis is that Geminis are so quick, they could freak somebody out. Like, you have to be quick enough to understand a Gemini. Me being a Libra moon, I get it. I understand that quick wind, and, like, I think it's dope. It's just like, alright, like, you got multiple people and you, I can hang out with 2 of you, or 3 of you, or 4 of you. Most of the time it's, like, 4 people. But it's like, let's all hang out. I'm cool. I can handle that. A lot of signs don't know how to handle that. It's confusing to them. They're like, whoa, that was just too fast for me. And ultimately what it is that a Gemini has a shadow self. They have a few shadow selves. It's a very, like, multifaceted, excuse me, it's like all the way in my face. It's a very, multifaceted sign. They have so many parts of self. And it could switch in a way where it matches, like, any time of day, any time of season, any moment. Like, that's just, they know how to switch it so fast. But everyone has Gemini in their chart somewhere. Everyone does. And because of that, it really brought out, wherever Gemini falls in your chart, it brought out that shadow side of yourself. So, that would basically mean that there is a shadow side in that area, and it came out with Spunk because it had that light shined on it. It had that emotion out in the open, that vulnerability, and that shadow was ready to talk, especially with Mercury being in Sagittarius and in retrograde. That it was definitely bringing a little bit of confusion, because anytime Mercury is in retrograde, it causes some kind of communication issues or communication confusion, and people take things wrong a lot or express them in words that don't really, it doesn't really register what they're really trying to say. So let's get into it, because this is everything. Alright, so the full moon was actually squaring Mars. I'm going to read you my notes because I have so many notes, and then I'm probably going to piggyback on every little thing because I talk a lot, Libra moon, and fuck it, Mercury is in Sagittarius. So here we go. Ready? So emotion was set on fire. Okay? Was set on fire. Oh, okay. Here we go. So normally, with the full moon squaring Mars, okay, think of it this way. Squares, again, for anybody that doesn't really know what squares are. Square means that they're 90 degrees apart, and like the planets are 90 degrees apart. They're in two signs that are, or different signs that are 90 degrees apart. And it brings conflict, but the conflict is actually there so that way you can utilize it to kind of rub against something that needs to be brought to attention, right? And ultimately, squares don't play. They're like, there's nobody that's going to be comfortable in this situation because we need to grow. That's the whole point of being here. So here we go. Let's make it work, right? Sharp edges on every playing field. So normally, if the full moon would square Mars, being that Mars is more aggressive and being that the full moon is more about emotions, it would definitely say that it would set your emotions on fire, right? Because Mars is that fiery energy, that aggressive planet, right? Aries is ruled by Mars. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is why a lot of times I like to tell you guys that I see with Scorpio, it's like a very heavy blue, super, super hot flame that like hot before it even hits the oxygen. Like it's on that point, right? Because it's that drawback intensity. So normally I would say that it would put your emotions on fire. However, there's a little bit of a difference here because the full moon was actually in Gemini, right? But Mars was in Pisces at the time, okay? So Mars in Pisces is actually, I believe that's the most deficient area of Mars being in Pisces because, like, let's be honest. Pisces is all about unlimited love and just, you know, bringing in all this unconditional, like, oh my God, you're amazing, and embracing the spirituality of self. However, also, Pisces, since it taps into the 12th house life, it could also bring some issues as far as alcohol and drugs and psychological issues that we not necessarily want to bring out for open in a regular manner, right? So, this is what I wrote for this. Can we say petty? Yes, petty, 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 petty Pisces. Pisces, I love you. You're my opposite sign. You're also my rising sign. We can be a little bit petty, right? Alright, so, what I mean by that is this. Your emotions can make you super fucking petty, right? Around that time, you were like, you know what? I'm not really feeling you right now. I'm going to do some shit that's going to make you feel uncomfortable because I've been studying you and I know what makes you feel comfortable, right? Uncomfortable, not comfortable, right? So you can get really petty with a lot of the things. I think back to Thanksgiving. Yeah, I was a little petty. I got really upset at being made fun of. And, like, on Black Friday, I had this whole plan to spend money. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going home in the morning. And I knew that was going to, like, make my mom upset because she had so many plans of us, like, shopping together. Like, that's one thing that me and my mom have in common is we love to shop. But I was like, no, I'm upset. I'm not talking to anybody. I want to go home. Like, you know? Like, petty as hell. Why? Like, it's hurting you in the long run. But that's just how, you know, the moon was. Excuse me, guys. So my dog wants to say hello. Oh, my goodness. Okay. He's on top of the bed. Hi, Skylar. You say hi. Okay. Yes. Now that he's on top of the bed, we can proceed. Alright. So, yeah, so there was a little bit of pettiness when it comes to that. Also, I wrote, what shall be verbalized is expressed passively and turned to manipulative. Pisces energy can be extremely manipulative. It's not manipulative in a way where it's to harm you. It's just that Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So it has went all the way around the wheel. Like, went from Aries all the way to the final 12th sign. So therefore, Pisces already pretty much knows your step before you take it. It's like chess for them. Like, I know this is something that a lot of people that was Scorpio would be proud about. However, like, I'm sorry to tell you, Scorpio, and I'm telling you this with, like, so much love. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, and at the same time, like, I have to watch my Pisces friends because Pisces act like they don't know some shit, and they'll act so out of the way in the wind. But a Pisces is more quick to be like, I don't know how to do something just so you could do it, and they don't have to do it. They know exactly how to do it. They know how it's built. They know how it's, like, the whole construction of how everything works with what they want you to do. But they're going to act like they're completely clueless because in that way, they just don't have to do it. They could just go, like, drown themselves in their own little world of the things that they actually find amusing. So, that being said, yeah. So it's easy for you to be more passive about the things that you feel. You were a little bit more passive, but it turned into more of a manipulative thing for you. I'm trying to keep this in past tense because it was in the past. But yes, that was during that time. And since it hasn't really been a whole month yet, and it's still in the process because the full moon actually lasts 4 months, just like, 4 weeks, just like a new moon will last. Until we hit the full moon in Cancer, we're still hanging out with Gemini. So, it's still going on. So I know I've had a lot of people contact me in the last couple of days, and they're like, what is going on? Why are people so moody? Why do I feel so weird? Blah, blah, blah. we're still going through that full moon in Gemini, so you're still gonna switch really fast. You're still gonna feel awkward. You're still gonna feel like somebody could piss you off really quickly. Like, those are things that are gonna happen. So for those people that have contacted me, because there's actually been a few of you. You're not the only one. I say that too. That's those specific people. You're not the only one. I've had a couple people actually message me, and yeah, you're still going through all the things that a Gemini would go through, which is the shadow self. Okay. Give me a second. Alright, let's see. Geminis can be super gossipy, and when hurt, Pisces can play sour before sweet. So that's another thing to know, right? So since the full moon is squaring Mars, and the full moon is in Gemini, and then Pisces is in Mars, think of it this way. Geminis, because they're big on local information, it's easier for them. They talk. And I understand it. I'm a Libra moon. We talk. But Geminis are so quick with conversation that, like, they constantly need topics to talk about for them to feel like, you know, they're getting all of their intellect out, or all the things that they know out. And then just kind of exchange information. Plus, keep in mind, they were talking like 4 different people at one time. So with them talking for 4 different people, since they have so many different personalities within self, it's like you do eventually run out of talking about things. So because of it, it's causing them to constantly gossip. Sometimes, you know, they fall short with topics to speak of, so they start to now formulate conversation that they probably shouldn't formulate. And realistically speaking, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. Like, you could be their friend and they can still end up like talking shit about you, and they don't even notice that they're doing it. It's just because the tongue is moving so fast. They just have to keep going and going that they eventually get out information that they're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But by the time they think about it, they're already on to the next thought, and they start talking about something else. So that being said, with Geminis being super gossipy, and then Pisces, when they're like hurt, they can be petty. What can ultimately happen is that with the full moon squaring Mars, this can cause some issues of constant gossiping, and kind of in a way, like with them gossiping, it might actually hurt them in the long run. Somebody might hear them, and then in a way they kind of like tackle back at you by being sour to you. So it's really confusing, because it's like, but you were just talking shit, and now you got caught, but now you want to be sour. That's that energy. It's like the energy of not actually admitting to yourself that you're being rude, and just kind of like quick information, quick, so quick. Then you get so defensive, and by being defensive, you actually act where you become super petty about it, right? That's pretty much that energy. Also, Pisces is in 12th house as well. So with the full moon squaring Mars as well, this is also, how do I explain this? So Pisces is 12th house, so if the anger was not expressed, instead it's held in, this could also cause some serious psychological discomfort. Reason being is because 12th house has everything to do with psychology, but inner psychology, right? 8th house is psychology too, but it's hidden secrets. Okay, it's things that like you don't really want anybody to know, but it's more on like a sexual side, or like manipulative, and more of a like things you keep from people so that way you can gain more control over a situation. Where 12th house is very like, I don't want people to know, because it's something that I don't even want to face just yet. It's something that's just so deeply like in my own psychology that like I even have to face it before I allow someone else to understand, or I have to find out the reasons why I feel this way, because I haven't really fully tapped into that part of myself. Okay, but that being said, with that being squared Mars, like, and Mars is in Pisces, and that full moon is being illuminated by the sun, this can cause a lot of issues with feeling like maybe you might want to drink your problems away, or you might want to do a lot of recreational drugs. Like, that might be something that you tap into. Another way, though, which would be a lot more positive, is you might actually take a lot more trips to a therapist, or be more open, especially with that Gemini energy running through your veins. You might be a lot more open about how you feel. and seek out a friend that is willing to listen and also talk back and kind of be able to exchange thoughts so that way you guys can both feel understood. So that definitely would have been a little bit more healthier. So if you think back to Thanksgiving, it probably more people would have been the ones to drink their issues away, because Thanksgiving, especially, like, let's be honest, like, the day before Thanksgiving is definitely a time that it is a drink-a-paid. Everyone's drinking, everyone's out partying. So this was a time period that people were really utilizing that energy, and they were in their fucking feelings, you know? Drake status. Like, they were in their feelings. And because of it, it could have caused a little bit of an issue. Either way, though, I do say from this, on a positive end, if you did go about doing that and you actually realized that it was something that you didn't need to do in the long run, because if you would have just said your feelings, you would have felt better, then that's a positive thing that could happen, and technically you failed forward. So I wouldn't beat myself up too much if that's something that you did, if you saw in the long run that, you know, it actually was something you didn't need to do and you could have just spoke about your feelings. Alright, another thing too with that is that a lot of times we forget that every sign has an opposite sign. So being that Mars was in Pisces, the best way to handle this energy at that time would have been to tap into the opposite sign of that, which is Virgo. So anytime that you feel like, or we are like in Mars and Pisces or whatever, it's better to understand that you could have control in that situation. And not necessarily control, like, I'm not talking about control where you suppress your emotions. What I'm saying is that this would have been the perfect time to organize your thoughts. If you felt this way and these are things that you felt like you needed to get out, organize your thoughts. How do you feel? It's okay to feel the way that you feel, but then organize how you feel and say, okay, this is how I feel, this is why I feel this way, this is how I can execute expressing how I feel, rather than allowing it to just come out like mumbo jumbo, right? So the positive thing about these videos is that even though these are in the past, you could still utilize this for now and understand that that would have been the perfect time for you to gain more control by organizing thoughts. Also, tap into your inner healer, right? Virgo is healing energy, so you could be a natural healer to self. This would have been a perfect time to tap into a holistic way of dealing with things. So, like, I mean, I can't even express to you enough. Every time I am sick, every single time, especially when I'm busy for work, I try to do the whole Western thing and take medicine that's over the counter. It never works for me. Every single time I will drink either coconut milk, or sometimes I will have like cow's milk. I try to stay away from that. But I'll put some coconut milk and a little bit of turmeric. Like, I'll boil boil the coconut milk and then put a little bit of turmeric and a little bit of honey and a little bit of cardamom and mix it up, and I'll drink it. And like, after I drink it for a few days, not even that long, I start to feel so much better, right? Especially if like I have a dry cough, the milk allows me to kind of cough up whatever is there. So it's a lot healthier than me just going ahead and taking like Robitussin, because that's just like a temporary fix for me to be able to go to sleep and not wake up. It's not even something that cures my cough. It just allows me to sleep it off and like not realize it's there, right? So that time would have been perfect for that, to be your own healer, to be motherly to yourself, right? Because that Virgo energy is very motherly energy. Also, like I said, organize your thoughts or heal your own wounds. Again, 6th house Virgo, that's all about like daily activities and physical health. A lot of you were taking out a lot of your irritation in the gym, and that is more proactive and a lot healthier than doing it through, you know, drinking your problems away or anything like that. So that definitely would have been that perfect time for you guys to get in the gym. And yeah, you know what? It's all mental. Like, control is just a mental thing. Nobody really has control over anything. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more groundedness that's there to utilize that energy, because it's energy. At the end of the day, it's energy. So whether it's negative energy or positive energy, ultimately the goal is to be able to take whatever energy that's presented and to then convert it into energy that works for that purpose at that time, right? And the purpose is always to be positive. It's never to be negative. That negative is always just gonna produce negative results. It's always gonna do that. So the goal is to continuously use it in a positive way or convert that energy, right? And there are crystals for that. I will definitely be going into more crystals. I'm really trying to find the time to do that, but there is definitely energy that will crystals that will convert anything negative into positive energy. All right. So going forward, that was the full moon that was squared Mars. So next, the next aspect is full moon opposite Jupiter. So let's talk about Jupiter first. Jupiter talks about the abundance, right? I wouldn't always say that Jupiter is joy, because it's not always joyful. It really depends on the person that's applying that mood into wherever Jupiter is in your birth chart, right? Or whatever Jupiter is falling in your chart at that moment. But it's just kind of like, it's just, to be honest, it's like abundance. And it's about having a wheel of fortune. But the wheel of fortune is really about like where you put your energy at, right? I read something earlier, and it really makes a lot of sense. It was basically saying that the wheel of fortune is actually like, in the television show, it talks about a lot of the people that win are actually more focused on the wheel than they are focused on the opponent. And that makes sense with a lot of things, right? If you have tunnel vision to get to your direct area of wherever your goal is, and you don't let the things that are on the side get to you, you're going to get there a lot faster, right? If you allow people to come into your corner and invade your space while you're on this journey, it's going to cause a lot of roadblocks to get to where you want to go, because you're exercising your energy out to things that, like, ultimately they're not in favor of the goal. So it's just like, unless they're the alliance and they're like, yo, I'm going to put my energy and invest it into your positivity and your goal, then it becomes what? The poison, right? I just did a video on this, self-love or disease. Like, if you're not about the goal, you're disease to the goal, you're poison to the goal. Therefore, it's like understanding that concept is very heavy to understanding how Jupiter works. If you put positive energy into something that stands for abundance, you're going to get an abundance of positive energy. If you put negative energy into that, you're going to get nothing but negativity. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, poison grows a lot faster. And when I say grows, yes, I mean it kills and grows or expands, right? It gets there a lot faster and goes through everything quicker than positive energy. So Jupiter is really about what you put into it, right? It could offer you the best education. It can offer you the most beautiful experience of spirituality and faith and self-love, or it can hit the opposite side where you're a wild beast that just kind of doesn't take anything seriously, right? The other side of Sagittarius, like too party like, that you're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do drugs and I'm gonna experience this and I'm gonna experience that and I'm gonna hook up with this person, I'm gonna do this, and ultimately what it does is just give out all of your energy to everyone else rather than self, to utilize it for something amazing, right? So you cannot just quote the philosophers, but actually be a philosopher, be a legend, be somebody that is going to be in a history book that someone else is going to appreciate, right? You could either be one or the other. Same thing on the other end of Pisces. And I bring up Sagittarius and Pisces, by the way, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. You can be the other side of Pisces, where Pisces is the beautiful, spiritual, very zen, very connected with that mermaid-esque ability to woo people and talk with such conviction and just beauty and like magical. You could be that kind of person, or you can be the opposite of Pisces, that's just destructive and someone who's just so deep in emotions and cannot get out of them that they kind of lose sight of reality. The reality that they're in anyway. They jump from other realities to other realities, any way to escape, right? Pisces have that issue when they're upset to go into escapism, like just completely escape from where they need to pay attention, and that's not a positive thing. That just adds on to the problem because you're not healing. You have the ability to heal, but you're not doing it, right? Opposite of Pisces. You have the ability to heal like a Virgo, but you're choosing to escape, right? So that being said, where are you putting Jupiter is really, or what energy are you putting into that Jupiter? So having full moon opposite from Jupiter is pretty much like saying, all right, well, the sun and the moon already have a mirror with each other, but now I'm going to put a mirror on my emotions. So it's literally like saying, I'm trying to use things that are here. And you guys are going to know what perfume I use. Alright, let's say, shout out to Denise and her beautiful son from London, Talamina. I still have the sand. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to try to hold, this is really sad because I'm totally a server and bartender and I should be able to hold things. Alright, cool. So let's just say, right, this is the sun, okay, this is the moon, and then this is Jupiter, right? They're pretty much like, let's see if I can get it. No, it's not gonna work. Alright, but they're like this. I don't know if you guys can see, but from this angle. The sun is looking at the moon, Jupiter is looking at the moon, and they're like ganging up on the moon, right? That's basically what's happening. Because the sun is very, very, very close to Jupiter, or was very close to Jupiter during the sun. They were only 3 degrees apart. So, like, it's like an abundance of energy where the sun is just, like, ganging up on the moon, like, yo, I see you. I see all of you. Let's focus on what you are. We're going to shine light on you. And the moon's like, holy shit. Like, I'm just, like, trying to, like, breathe, right? I'm just trying to be me. And, like, normally I don't have light on me, and I'm just, like, chilling to myself, and, like, I just, like, you know, that's pretty much that energy. It's the energy of being like, all right, well, we're both going to shine light on you, an abundance of light, because now Jupiter has that abundance of that egotistical light that's shining heavily on the moon. So that could be a lot of issues right there, and again, being that the moon doesn't really, like, it goes through its phases of waxing and waning, and, like, doesn't always want to be out in the open, right? Our needs are extremely important. They are. However, let's be completely honest. You wouldn't know half of your needs unless, like, people took that opportunity away from you to be able to see them, right? In the sense of being, like, if you're at work, let's say, and, like, you think everything is going well, and then somebody messes up your hours, your clock-in hours, like, you need that money to survive, and, like, maybe they do it once, and it's like, alright, that's not that bad. Maybe they do it again, and you're like, really? But the third time, you're like, bro, like, for real, this is a thing? What? Right? So that being said, you need that contrast. You need that contrast of being like, damn, yo, I needed that. You need that, because that's going to make you be more spunk about and speak up for yourself. That's very, very heavy, and that's something that we need. We need it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's ironic to say your needs come out when you need it the most, right? Even though you try to hide it, they come out. So that's pretty much what's happening here, is that Jupiter is now offering that abundance of a mirror, and it's saying you need to speak your mind. You need to say how you feel. You need to get these things out, because if you don't get them out, they're going to seriously come into your area and brew poison. And nothing is worse than having poison brewed inside of you. You know what that does? It starts out psychologically, and then it starts becoming physical. Legit. It starts to become physical. Everything starts out with a thought. Everything starts out coming from the mind and then attracting something into the physical realm. So if you, and ultimately that's what that axis is about. If you guys know the axis, the 6th house and 12th house axis, that's what it's about. It's everything that has to do with the magician. Everything when it comes to tarot has to do with the magician. The ability to understand that those axes are, that axis, those two houses are so, aligned with each other. The ability to take thought and bring it into the physical plane. So understanding this, that it works both ways. It is a very heavy thing to understand that the more that you suppress your emotions, the more it is going to create disease physically. I cannot express that enough. And you could sit there and tell yourself all day that that does not happen. Trust me, it does. There are people that have physical diseases that are living longer than people that are not diagnosed. Because once they get those diseases, they start to realize that in life you only have a certain amount of time. And their essence and their glow and their joy of just living day by day, being in the present, things that we forget because everything is so fast. Go to school, graduate from school, go to college. After you go to college, meet the right guy or girl, freaking get married, have babies, get a house, do all this, it's just so quick in such a small amount of time, so many expectations, right? Slow down a little bit. The people that have the disease, they have those physical diseases, they start to realize, all I have is the present, because nothing else is guaranteed, which is crazy, because that's exactly what it's like anyway. Even if you didn't have that disease, it's the same way. But because they have that disease and their mind has now accepted it, they're like, okay, all I have is right now. And once they start living in the present, once they're not allowing the disease to take over their willpower, once they tap into that, I can do this. I can do the things, all the things. They live longer. And even if that living longer is a day, they live longer. They live longer. They actually live longer. Whether it's 2 hours, 24 hours, 2 months, 10 years, 30 years. They live longer, keyword. They're not just breathing. They're not just walking. They're not just talking. They're living. Because they realize the present. So understand that very factor is that you have to take care of your mind. You have to take care of your thoughts. You have to take care of even your fears. Because when I say take care of your fears, understand that fear is not a real thing. It's something that's created by a thought. So take care of your thoughts. Please. Deal with whatever's bothering you. There's always someone willing to listen. I know that people say no one wanted to listen. There's always someone willing to listen. And guess what? If one person didn't listen, go to the next person. Trust me, there's always someone that even wants you to talk because they need somebody to just say how they feel. Understand that. Take care of the mind. Ultimately, it will take care of the body in the long run. Sorry to get off topic. I just had to go there. Other than that, I'm going to yawn because my eyes are dry. And it's after 3 o'clock. It's almost 4. Okay. Oh, that feels so much better. So, other than that, because Jupiter is actually sitting with the sun, your ego is going to fight your emotion by shining more light on it. We covered it. Remember, the sun is the one that shines the spotlight towards the moon. And being next to Mercury, which is also in retrograde, as well, will make the ego boast more, especially in Sagittarius. Oh my god, so big. Sagittarius are blunt as a motherfucker. They don't care. They say some shit, and they be like, you got offended? I don't even know how. And you be like, did you just hear what you just said? I don't know why you offended. I just said the truth. Really? Really, Sag? Really? Don't say nothing to them, though. They be chill as hell for a second, but if you poke the right area, whew, the fire gonna come out like the Leo and the Aries, right? Sagittarius will play all day like they chilling. They ain't got nothing to say. They might be like fiery with their words, but they ain't got nothing to say to get defensive unless you poke the right area, and then it's a wrap, right? It come out worse than damn Aries and freaking Leo, because they just the wildfire. They don't give a fuck, right? Alright. So, let me stop getting on Sagittarius. I love y'all. Happy birthday, by the way. Yeah, so then Sagittarius, here they come, right? Here comes Mercury and Sag, so you go ahead and you shine light on the emotion, and then somebody say something to you wrong, right? Because the full moon's in Gemini, and you're like, oh, for real, that's how you feel? How about this? Pow. Oh, and I taught you something about yourself, right? Because Sagittarius are always teaching somebody something. So here they go. They want to tell you about how they know this about you, and you should have did this because this makes more sense, and realistically this is better, and blah blah blah, and they already been through that journey, and you just learning how to get there, right? That's that Sagittarius personality. They chill until that, but don't piss them off. And that's exactly what happens when you have, you know, the full moon opposite Jupiter, and then Mercury is like hanging out right next to Jupiter with the sun, right? Mercury was 10 degrees at the time. The sun was at 0 degrees and 52 minutes, and Jupiter was hanging out at 3 degrees. It was a happy family. All putting all their energy on the moon. The poor moon. The moon just want to hang out with the ocean. I don't want to do nothing else. Right, my Cancers? They just want to hang out in a dream sequence. They want to sleep. That's what the moon want to do, is just go to sleep. So it doesn't have to deal with the things. Not the full moon in Gemini. The full moon in Gemini is pulling out that inner shadow. It doesn't want to hear, I don't want to show myself. It's like, nah, not today. Come on out. Come out to play. Right? And then also with having Mercury in retrograde, it's just going to keep bringing misunderstandings when it comes to like language. So that was a big thing. Like, a lot of people were like, yo, Thanksgiving time, I was just trying to hang out with the family. Somebody pissed me off, and I kind of said how I felt. And everybody misunderstood what I was trying to say. I was just trying to, like, rectify the situation. I was just trying to not get made fun of. Just trying to go Black Friday shopping. All right, Ma. My mom always do that to me. Freaking Aries. Alright, so another thing too is depending on where your own moon falls in your birth chart, you might be a little excessive with expression. Big situation here. Because the abundance is there from Jupiter, you're going to be super expressive, or you were super expressive about where your moon was. Keep in mind, I know a lot of people are like, I don't know where my moon is. Yo, listen, you don't have to pay me if you don't want for me to read your birth chart, although it would probably be awesome, and you will understand so much about yourself and your life, and you wouldn't blame yourself for so many things because you're like, oh shit, this was supposed to happen. Damn. But at the same time, if you don't want to DM me, get your gift certificate for Christmas for you and your family for a nice little gift, that's okay. You could still go on the web and find a lot of birth charts that are free. The computerized version, it doesn't tell you absolutely everything because it's just like computerized. You could do that, but you can get your chart, your circular chart that shows where your placements are. It shows where the moon falls. So then you're like, okay, the moon fell in my 7th house, so I'm gonna have some emotional things going on with my partnerships, right? My relationship between me and a significant other, friends, not groups. Just like one-to-one friends, or my business partner, or even like I might have some emotional things that happen, like maybe I'm in a situation in the court system and there's going to be a lot of emotion that comes out with that. I'm going to learn a lot, or a lot of things are going to click, right? Or maybe like you have it in like, I don't know, the 10th house. It's going to be in your career. There's going to be a lot of things in your work, your place of work, or out in the world rather than being at home, since home is 4th house, 10th house is opposite from that, so it's out of home. work fields, your persona, public persona. There might be some things going on over there that shows me as more of a nurturing foal, or I might have some emotional situations occur that like test my title, you know? You will know these things if you get your circular chart. So I would totally invest in that. It's free. Free of charge. It just takes energy to actually give a fuck. To go on and look for something free. Okay. The last and final placement is Mars square Jupiter. Alright? So we already had full moon square Mars, right? We had the full moon opposite of Jupiter. And then the final one is Mars is square Jupiter. In general, Mars does not want to listen to anything. Mars is the soldier. It just wants to go out and pop the fuck off. It's like, I just want to do this. I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. Like, I can't express that to you enough. My twin soul has Mars in Aries. And I am like, can you relax? Always want to pop off. Why? Like, very quick energy. I gotta get here. Security. Like, I gotta do this. Like, he works in security and just has to, like, he's quick to get things done. And you're like, relax, bruh. Relax, right? Chill out. Another ex had Mars in first house, Aries, right? House of Aries. Same concept, just a different placement, whether Mars in Aries, Mars in first house. Same concept, right? Just would not, like, just chill. Why you always gotta pop off, right? That's that Mars energy. And whether it is popping off outside, which is the Aries, or whether you have Mars in Scorpio or Mars in 8th house, same thing, that popping off, but you inside, you have that intensity, and you're like, that's okay, right? Because Scorpio is all about the magician, so it's like, right? You pissed me off. Alright, I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to project that shit into the real world. I'm going to get your ass back, right? That Mars in Scorpio, Mars in 8th house, that type of shit, right? Actually, now that I think about it, they both have both placements. That's weird. Mars in Aries, Mars in the 8th house, and the other one had Mars in 1st house, Mars in Scorpio. Whew, I like them intense, apparently. Holy Jesus. Well, anyway, that was a mental note for myself. But, point blank period, Mars always wants to pop off. Always. And then Jupiter is about the abundance of that. So this can go one or two ways, okay? Either there becomes an issue because Mars wants to pop off and Jupiter wants to teach and like kind of train Mars, and Mars is like, bruh, this is too much. I'm not, and it's gonna irritate Mars even more, right? Because he's like, I don't have time for this shit. I gotta go do what I gotta do. I don't want to deal with it. Either one could go that way, or it can go the opposite way, because Mars was in Pisces and Jupiter was actually in its home in Sagittarius, where Jupiter is feeling all good, right? Jupiter having a party right now, but Jupiter's like, I'm at home. I'm chilling. I ain't got things to worry about. I'm going to smoke this, and I'm going to drink this, and I'm good, right? That Jupiter essence of, like, that party animal Sag, what ends up happening is that there can be Mars wants to execute, Jupiter wants to chill, so it becomes more passive, right? Jupiter is like, nah, I just want to like hang out and do this and do that, but then pissed off, blunt, right? When people come at it. And Mars is very like, I don't want to talk about it, but then I'm going to escape. Okay, so there, like I said, there's one or two ways. It could be Mars doesn't want to list, where is it? Mars is in Daydream Pisces, and Jupiter is at home in BLUNTacious Sagittarius. So it becomes like tactless escapism. That's what happens, right? Let's be honest. I'm not going to just keep like getting on my side, because I love y'all. I do. I really do. Like, again, I told you, I am a Libra moon, and I'm a Virgo sun. And like, let's be honest. Like, and I'm an Aquarius Pisces rising. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's on some, like, Beyonce, Jay-Z type love shit. Because Beyonce's a Virgo and Jay-Z's a Sag. And, like, Jay-Z's also a freaking Libra moon. Beyonce's a Scorpio moon. Like, let me tell you this. I love y'all. But y'all are crazy. And ultimately, at the end of the day, y'all are even teaching somebody where y'all are out there being hippies, okay? Out there just loving life and just, like, exploring everything about it. Literally. Like, everything about it. So, it could turn into some tactless escapism. You could be doing some shit that you probably should be thinking twice about, you know, sleeping with this person that might not necessarily be a good idea, or doing this drug that might not necessarily be a good idea, or something like that, you know? Ultimately, it's like there's no parent or guardian that's there to watch, and it's just kind of like loosey-goosey, right? That idea. That could turn into that, or like I said, it could be the ultimate of like, I want to pop off, and I don't want to be taught, I just want to do, and that's it, right? It could be one or the other. That was that energy then. Also, the more you talk yourself into being responsible, the more YOLO comes to mind. So true. The more that you're like, alright, well, I'm trying to gain control over this situation, right? We mentioned that before when we were talking about, which one was it? When we were talking about the full moon that squares Mars, right? Tap into your inner Virgo. Well, it's basically saying with this placement, Mars square Jupiter, like the more that you try to tap into that control, the more that you're like, fuck it, YOLO, right? So this energy again is gonna be there until we hit the full moon in Cancer. We have a little bit to go. Okay, I believe it's going to be on the 22nd, I think, don't mark my words, but I mark my words, there we go. Pretty sure it's the 22nd or even the December 23rd, one or the other, but that's pretty much where the sun will be in Capricorn, and then the moon will be in Cancer, alright? And, like, until we get there, which is a week away, we're still in that vibe of full moon in Gemini. We're still popping off a little bit heavy, like, coming at the mouth. A lot of this energy really has to do with just getting your shadow side out and, like, saying how you really feel. And not for nothing, like I said, like, December 10th, Sun, Sex, Black Moon, Lilith. Like, talk about wild-ass, like, instincts, right? That's what the Black Moon Lilith stands for. It stands for that energy of your wildest instincts. When you talk about the true Black Moon node, true Lilith node and everything like that, like, that shit is real, like, your wildest instinct, it's heavy, and ultimately, at the end of the day, get it out, like, you have to get it out, don't suppress it, it's gonna make it worse, talk to somebody, please get it out, like, I can't express you enough. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I had an irritated night when someone pissed me the fuck off, and, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, I had to talk it out. So I came up one here, and I talked it out. I said how I felt without actually telling you guys what happened. I got it out, so it's important to get it out is the goal. And embrace the fact that Mercury is in Sag. Like, why the fuck not? Embrace it. Like, let it out, be blunt. Not everybody can handle it, and that sucks. Like, why should you have to monitor yourself because other people cannot handle it? It's not fair. Obviously, if you're in a place of work and you're doing customer service, there's definitely a way to present something without being rude. But if this is somebody that's one-on-one and it's a friend that hurt you or a family member that hurt you or someone just out there, like, in the world, express yourself. You don't have to be rude. Yes, you can be blunt and still not be rude. There is a way. And for those that don't know that, understand that there is a way to be completely open and honest without being a terrible person. And if other people can't accept you at being open and honest and you're not being rude, if they can't accept that and they try to, like, kind of manipulate the situation by telling you, like, you're being rude when you know you're not, then let them believe that. Don't let that tap into a negative reason for you to, like, suppress your emotions. It's just not fair. Alright? People do it all the time where they're like, oh, you're being rude and you're not. So then just quietly be like, well, this is how I felt. And keep it moving. Put that energy into something positive. Right? Sagittarius energy is that, like, Voyager energy. So this is great. Like, there's just so much going on in Sag, right? You have Jupiter in Sagittarius, Mercury's in Sagittarius, The sun is in Sagittarius. Shine a light on your voyage. Keep it moving with the journey. Find out what you need. Allow that shit to happen, right? Let those planets shine light on the moon. I don't care if the moon's uncomfortable. Let it shine light on the moon. And then go ahead, once you know what you need, and execute it. Get her done. Alright, guys. So, I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Oh, by the way, I didn't say this. It was at 12:39 Eastern Standard Time as well. 12:39 a.m. on November 23rd. Alright, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your Gemini moon. Be careful. Cuidado. But don't. Say how you feel. Explore. Sagittarius love to explore. Alright, I'm going to sleep. I have things to do in the morning. And then the next moon that I will be explaining will be last week's moon. That was on the 7th, I believe. Right? December 7th? Yeah, something like that, I think. I could be wrong. Don't mock me. If you do. That fucking sucks. Alright, so the next one will be the new moon in Sagittarius that just happened. So much Sag energy. And, yeah, and so that. And then we'll have our lovely full moon in Cancer. Oh, so many emotions. Oh, Cancer. Good night. Love you guys. Please let me know what you felt during Thanksgiving. Keep it real. Okay, bye.